Hello, night travelers. Welcome back to the Night Observer, a quiet corner where weary souls come to rest, to find comfort, and to drift gently into sleep while contemplating the vast, mysterious universe. Tonight, a small bonfire has been lit once more. We gather around its warm glow, listening together to stories whispered by the cosmos. Our journey takes us far into the distant past, toward the moon, Earth's oldest companion, an eternal source of inspiration for poetry, music, and art. You will hear of her origins and formation, her slow evolution through time, and the quiet secrets she holds. You will learn about her composition, the theories surrounding her birth, and humanity's long and careful attempts to reach her surface. This story, as gentle and reflective as Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, is meant to carry you into a deep and peaceful sleep, a place of stillness amid the drifting clouds of time. Now, adjust your pillows until they feel just right. Let your shoulders sink and soften. Feel the warmth of the blanket resting against your body. Take a slow, deep breath. Allow your thoughts to grow lighter, and exhale gently, as though gravity itself has loosened its hold, and you begin to drift into a vast, silent ocean of darkness. Tonight, we will leave behind the noise of reality. Together, we will open one of the most wondrous chapters in the book of the universe. Dreams under the moonlight. Concepts and early speculations. This is the story of a silent companion who has guarded our night sky for billions of years. A story that begins with ancient names, shaped by the curious gazes of our ancestors, and slowly unfolds as human thought dared to form its first questions about her presence. Let your mind remain light, and allow the quiet symphony of space to guide you toward rest. Dreams under the moonlight, the eternal night, watchmen, and ancient names. Since the dawn of human civilization, our eyes have always been drawn upward, searching the night sky and lingering on the quiet glow of the moon. To our ancestors, she was never merely a celestial body. She was a pale lantern for night travelers, a muse for poets, and a silent witness to the rhythms of tides and time, the roots of language and the measure of time. The word moon itself carries a long and ancient history. In English, it comes from the Old English mona, which traces back to the Indo-European word mensis, meaning month. Some scholars believe it is also connected to a verb, meaning to measure. For thousands of years, long before clocks and calendars, humanity measured time by watching her phases. The Romans called her Luna, the Greeks Selene, and poets sometimes named her Cynthia, after the birthplace of Artemis on Mount Cynthus. In China, she is known as the Silver River of the Sky. Among the peoples of the Kalahari Desert, she is the backbone of the night. Each name is a thread woven through history, a quiet reminder that we have never stopped watching her. The tidal bond and the single face. There is a curious truth you may have noticed while gazing upward. No matter where you stand on Earth, the same face of the moon always looks back at you. This is not coincidence, nor modesty, but a graceful physical phenomenon known as tidal locking. The moon rotates on her axis at exactly the same pace that she orbits the Earth, roughly 27.3 days. Because of this perfect synchrony, one hemisphere forever faces us, while the far side remains hidden in darkness. Long ago, the moon likely spun more quickly. Over time, Earth's gravity shaped her gently but relentlessly, creating friction and heat, slowing her rotation until the two bodies settled into the calm, enduring dance we observe today. And so, night after night, she keeps her silent vigil, familiar, faithful, and unchanged, watching over the Earth as she has done for countless ages. Maps drawn by belief and imagination. Long before giant telescopes or spacecraft existed, the moon lived only in the human imagination, etched into cave paintings made more than 40,000 years ago, or marked carefully on ancient bones and stones. The first astronomers of humankind. Imagine our prehistoric ancestors seated quietly around a fire, carving fine lines into deer bones to follow the waxing and waning of the moon. These simple marks became humanity's earliest calendars, guiding them through the changing seasons, the rising tides, and the great migrations of animals. One of the oldest known depictions of the moon was carved into stone at Noath in Ireland around 3000 BC. And later, around 1600 BC, the remarkable Nebra celestial disk appeared, showing a crescent moon placed beside the Pleiades star cluster, a profound early attempt to understand our place beneath the stars, from reflective stone to the edge of the heavens. Ancient philosophers also turned their thoughts toward the moon, shaping ideas that would endure for centuries. In the 5th century BC, Anaxagoras proposed a bold idea for his time, that the moon was a vast rocky body, shining only because it reflected the light of the sun. Aristotle, however, saw her differently. To him, the moon marked a sacred boundary, the dividing line between the imperfect, ever-changing elements of Earth and the eternal, flawless heavens made of ether. This vision of a perfect, smooth moon dominated human thought for generations, casting her as an untouched and immaculate world. The Glass Revolution. Everything changed quietly, but forever, in the summer of 1609, when human eyes first learned to see the heavens through glass. Galileo Galilei and the fall of perfection. Late in that year, Galileo Galilei turned his modest telescope toward the moon, and in doing so, shattered centuries of belief. What he saw was not a smooth celestial sphere, but a rugged landscape of towering mountains, deep valleys, and countless impact craters. The moon, Galileo realized, was a world of stone and dust, shaped by violence and time, much like the Earth itself. In his revolutionary book, Sidereus Nuncius, 1610, he carefully described this uneven surface, laying the very first foundations of lunar science, what we now call selenography, the poetic naming of the seas. After Galileo, the moon was no longer a mystery glimpsed only in imagination. Scientists began to draw detailed maps of her face. In the 17th century, Giovanni Battista Riccioli and Francesco Maria Grimaldi introduced the naming system we still use today. They called the dark plains Maria, the Latin word for seas, believing they were once filled with water. We now know these regions are vast plains of ancient basalt, formed by flowing lava long ago. Yet the names remain. The Sea of Tranquility, the Ocean of Storms, poetic echoes of humanity's enduring sense of wonder. And so, slowly, belief gave way to observation, imagination to understanding, as the moon continued her silent watch over every generation that dared to look up. 3 hypotheses of doubt before Apollo. As humanity stepped into the 20th century, simple observation was no longer enough. Scientists wanted answers. They wanted to know where the moon truly came from. Long before the first human footprints pressed into lunar dust, the scientific world found itself divided into 3 distinct schools of thought. 3 different origin stories whispered beneath the night sky. The fission theory, a child born from the earth. This idea, once supported by George Darwin, the son of Charles Darwin, imagined the moon as a literal fragment of the young Earth. In those early days, our planet was molten, unstable, and spinning at a tremendous speed. According to this theory, the centrifugal force became so extreme that a vast mass of material was torn from Earth's surface, drifting away and cooling into what we now call the moon. Some even speculated that the Pacific Ocean was the great scar left behind by this cosmic separation. Yet mathematics revealed a fatal weakness. For such an event to occur, Earth would have needed to spin at an impossibly high speed, far beyond what physics allows. The capture theory, a wandering traveler. In this scenario, the moon began as a small, independent body roaming the solar system. As it passed near Earth, our planet's gravity reached out and captured it, binding the two together in an eternal orbit. This idea helped explain certain differences in composition between Earth and Moon. However, a troubling question remained. How could Earth's gravity slow such a massive object without tearing it apart, or allowing it to escape back into the darkness of space? The co-formation theory, twin siblings. The third hypothesis proposed that Earth and Moon were born together, forming side by side from the same swirling cloud of dust and gas that created the solar system. If this were true, their compositions should be nearly identical. Yet early measurements suggested otherwise. The Moon appeared significantly poorer in metals, particularly iron, than Earth, casting doubt on the idea of perfect cosmic twins. Strange mysteries and the resounding bell. While scientists debated their equations and models, the Moon itself occasionally offered moments of quiet unease. Transient lunar phenomena, TLP. For centuries, observers have reported brief flashes of light, misty clouds, or sudden color changes on the Moon's surface. These events are known today as transient lunar phenomena. Some believe they are signs of lingering volcanic activity. Others once dreamed of artificial structures. Even the Apollo 11 astronauts described a strangely illuminated region within the Aristarchus crater. Most such sightings are now explained as sunlight reflecting off fine dust, or gases escaping from the Moon's interior. Still, their fleeting nature continues to stir curiosity. Reminders that the Moon does not give up her secrets easily. A world that rings like a bell. One of the most remarkable discoveries came during the Apollo 12 mission, when astronauts deliberately crashed a lunar module into the surface to create seismic vibrations. The sensors recorded something unexpected. The Moon did not tremble briefly, as Earth would. Instead, it rang like a bell, reverberating for more than an hour. This strange response fueled speculation about a hollow moon. Scientists later offered a calmer explanation. The Moon is extremely dry and rigid. Earth's water and layered interior absorb shocks quickly. The Moon, lacking that softness, allows vibrations to echo and scatter through its fractured crust for a long time. What we heard was not emptiness, but the voice of a world shaped without oceans, a silent body resonating in the cold. Your breathing is now slow, gentle. Feel the deep peace of knowing that every mystery of the Moon, from ancient names to distant echoes, is part of a vast, quiet symphony watching over your rest. The Moon is like an endless hourglass. Each falling grain carries a story of existence. Tonight, you do not need to unravel those stories. Everything is unfolding in its own calm and perfect order. Relax your body completely. Let your eyelids grow heavy and drift into the peaceful darkness under the quiet guardianship of the eternal night watchman. Night travelers, gently adjust your pillows until your body feels fully supported. Let your shoulders soften. Feel the quiet warmth of the blanket resting against you. Take a slow, deep breath. Notice the lightness in your thoughts and exhale unhurriedly, as though gravity itself has loosened its hold, allowing you to drift into a vast, silent ocean of night. Having already passed through the dreams of the primordial age, we arrive at one of the most dramatic, luminous, and fateful chapters in the history of our blue planet, the touch of the goddess Theia, the Great Collision Theory. This is the story of destruction that made creation possible, of a moment when two worlds met, not to end, but to give birth to our eternal silver companion. Let your mind remain light and allow the quiet symphony of space to guide you gently toward rest. The touch of the goddess Theia, the Great Collision Theory, the stage of young giants. Let us turn the clock back roughly 4.5 billion years to a time only about 50 million years after the solar system first emerged from a collapsing cloud of dust and gas. In that distant era, Earth was not yet the calm, blue sanctuary we know today. Proto-Earth was a fierce and brilliant world, its surface molten, its skies filled with toxic volcanic gases, devoid of water and oxygen. It was a place of raw energy and constant upheaval. In that turbulent space, Earth was not alone. At least 20 protoplanets, similar in scale, circled the young sun. Among them was a smaller world, roughly the size of Mars, a body scientists would later name Theia, after the Greek goddess who gave birth to Selene, the moon. Fate placed Earth and Theia on intersecting paths, drawing them ever closer until retreat was no longer possible. The moment of destiny, the great collision. Theia approached Earth in silence, traveling at a staggering speed of approximately 25,000 miles per hour, over 40,000 kilometers per hour. This was not a direct, catastrophic impact that would obliterate both worlds, but a precise, angled collision of about 45 degrees, subtle in geometry, yet immense in consequence. A spectacle of destruction. The moment they met, an unimaginable amount of energy was released, enough to liquefy Earth's entire crust and completely dismantle Theia. Our planet responded like a vast ocean of molten rock. Waves of heat surged across its surface, transforming Earth into a glowing sea of magma. Earth's ring of fire. Billions of tons of material, fragments of crust and mantle from both bodies, were hurled into orbit. For a brief, extraordinary moment, Earth was encircled by a luminous ring of dust and molten stone, reminiscent of Saturn's rings, but burning with the deep reds of fire and ash. Within this swirling halo of debris, the first quiet seeds of the moon began to gather. The birth amidst the ash. Contrary to what we might imagine, the moon did not take millions of years to form. Modern computer simulations reveal a far swifter creation. From the orbiting debris, gravity worked with remarkable efficiency. In just about 100 years, a mere heartbeat in cosmic time, the moon had coalesced into a stable, spherical body. In its earliest form, the moon was a world of intense heat and brilliance. Its surface was covered by a deep ocean of magma, stretching from 500 kilometers to more than 1,700 kilometers in depth. As this molten world slowly cooled, lighter minerals such as plagioclase rose to the surface, solidifying into the pale crust we recognize today, while heavier materials sank inward to form the moon's mantle. And so, from fire, loss, and collision, a companion was born, one that would quietly watch over Earth for billions of years to come. Rest now. The most violent chapter has already passed. What remains is the calm glow of a silver guardian, suspended in the night, keeping gentle time as you drift into sleep. Cosmic fingerprints, real-world evidence. Why do scientists place such confidence in the Great Collision theory, setting it apart from earlier ideas? The answer rests quietly in the 840 pounds, approximately 380 kilograms, of lunar rock and soil brought back to Earth by the Apollo missions between 1969 and 1972. These silent stones carry memories older than any ocean. The blood type of oxygen isotopes. Every planet in the solar system possesses a distinct chemical signature, a kind of cosmic fingerprint defined by the ratios of oxygen isotopes within its rocks. When scientists examined the lunar samples, they encountered a profound surprise. The moon's oxygen isotope ratios are nearly identical to those of Earth. This remarkable match tells us that the moon is not a wandering stranger captured by chance. It is family, formed from the very same material lineage as our planet, the iron core and the puzzle of density. Theia, too, possessed an iron core. During the angled collision, however, its heavy iron sank deep into Earth, merging completely with our planet's core. This explains why Earth has such a massive iron heart, capable of generating the powerful magnetic field that shields life today. The Moon, by contrast, is strikingly poor in metal. Its small iron core makes up only about 20% of its radius, leaving it lighter and less dense. What remains is primarily the rocky outer layers of both worlds, quiet evidence of a violent beginning. The echoes of a barren world. The Moon's story is also told through sound, through vibrations that linger far longer than expected. During the Apollo 12 mission, astronauts deliberately crashed a spacecraft module into the lunar surface. The instruments recorded something astonishing. The Moon rang like a bell, not for seconds, but for more than an hour. The absence of water. This prolonged reverberation reveals a crucial truth. The Moon is extraordinarily dry and rigid. On Earth, water within rocks acts as a natural cushion, absorbing shocks and silencing vibrations within minutes. The immense heat generated by the collision with Theia vaporized most volatile substances, including water, leaving behind a dry, hardened world. That is why the Moon continues to echo, long after the initial impact, a resonance born not of emptiness, but of extreme solidity. The gifts left for life. The collision with Theia did far more than give us the Moon. It reshaped Earth itself, transforming it into a cradle capable of sustaining life. The tilt and the rhythm of the seasons. The impact tipped Earth onto its current axis, 23.5 degrees. Without this gentle lean, there would be no seasons, no rhythmic variation in climate. Life would face a far harsher and more monotonous world. Rotation, time, and the slowing of days. In its youth, Earth spun rapidly, completing a day in just 6 hours. The gravitational presence of the Moon acted as a quiet break. Through tidal friction, it gradually slowed Earth's rotation, lengthening our days into the familiar 24-hour cycle that shapes human life and rest. Tides and the primordial soup. When the Moon first formed, it hovered nearly 10 times closer to Earth than it does today. The resulting tides, towering thousands of meters high, swept far inland, grinding rocks and releasing minerals into the early seas. From this turbulent mixture emerged the chemical building blocks of life, amino acids and proteins. Without Theia, without the Moon, this delicate chain of events may never have unfolded. Your breath is now slow, unburdened. Feel the deep reassurance that even the most violent catastrophes can give rise to the most beautiful beginnings. You are resting on a planet once shaped by fire and ash, now softened into a living, breathing world. The Moon remains above you, its silver presence drifting away at 3.8 centimeters each year, yet still quietly guarding Earth's axis and steady heartbeat. The mysteries of Theia, of molten oceans and lingering echoes, have settled into silence, gently guiding you toward rest. Let your body relax completely. Allow your thoughts to grow light. Drift into peaceful sleep beneath the calm gaze of the eternal night watchman. The universe is like an endless hourglass. Each falling grain of stardust carries a story of existence. Tonight, you need not follow those stories any further. Simply lie still and let time itself carry you into the most serene dream. We have traveled together through the earliest dreams of creation, witnessing the fateful touch of the goddess Theia, whose collision shaped our silver companion. Now, as your thoughts soften and your awareness drifts, we move gently toward the next chapter, the symphony of connection, research, and the future. Here, we will listen to faint echoes from the Moon's ancient heart, search for hidden traces of water locked in eternal shadow, and look toward a future where humanity builds its first quiet homes beyond Earth. Rest now. Close your eyes and allow the universe to cradle your sleep as the mysteries of two worlds continue their timeless conversation. The sound of a dry bell. The story of modern lunar research does not begin with images, but with sound. with seismic whispers that forever changed how we understand the moon's hidden interior. On November 20th, 1969, during the Apollo 12 mission, scientists carried out a bold and deliberate experiment. After astronauts Pete Conrad and Alan Bean had safely returned to the command module, Mission Control instructed the launch stage of the Eagle lunar module to plunge back down and strike the moon's surface at nearly 3,800 miles per hour. The goal was simple, yet daring, to generate artificial seismic waves that instruments left behind could record and analyze. What followed caused the control room in Houston to fall into stunned silence. Unlike Earth, where seismic vibrations fade away within minutes, the moon did not grow quiet. Instead, it rang like a bell. The vibrations echoed and echoed, continuing for more than an hour. Why does our silent neighbor sing for so long? The answer lies in the delicate relationship between structure and moisture. Earth is rich in water, layered with softer materials that absorb shocks like a natural cushion. The moon, however, is profoundly different. It is an extremely dry and rigid world. The immense heat released during the ancient collision with Theia evaporated nearly all volatile compounds, leaving behind a body of hardened rock. In such a world, vibrations do not fade easily. They scatter, rebound, and linger within the fractured crust. This prolonged echo is not evidence of hollowness, but rather a quiet confirmation of a violent, fiery past, one that forged one of the most resilient bodies in the solar system. Treasures hidden in eternal darkness. For decades after Apollo, we believed the moon to be a barren and waterless wasteland. Yet the quiet interactions of celestial bodies often conceal unexpected gifts. At the moon's poles lie regions untouched by sunlight for billions of years. Deep within impact craters such as Shackleton and Cabeus, perpetual darkness reigns. These cold traps plunge to temperatures below minus 230 degrees Celsius, colder even than the surface of Pluto. In 2009, NASA's L-Cross mission took a decisive step. A rocket stage was deliberately guided into the shadowed depths of Cabeus crater at the lunar South Pole. As dust rose briefly into the faint sunlight, onboard instruments detected unmistakable signs of water ice. Today, scientists estimate that billions of tons of water lie dormant within these frozen shadows. The presence of this water tells a story of cosmic connection. It may have been delivered by comets or asteroids, ancient travelers that met their end upon the moon's surface. This discovery transforms water from a mere scientific curiosity into a cornerstone of the future. It can be separated into oxygen for breathing and hydrogen for fuel, allowing the moon to serve as a vital resting point, a quiet harbor, for humanity's deeper journeys into space. The slow dance of the knots, the lunar nodal cycle. The moon is not merely an object to admire from afar. It is actively shaping life on Earth, even now, through the steady pull of its gravity. Yet this relationship is more intricate than it first appears. There exists a subtle rhythm known as the lunar nodal cycle, lasting 18.6 years. The moon's orbit is slightly tilted, about 5 degrees, relative to Earth's path around the sun. Because of this tilt, the moon crosses two invisible intersection points, known as nodes, each month. These nodes are not fixed. They slowly rotate around Earth, creating a gentle but persistent wobble in the moon's orbit. This quiet motion has powerful consequences. During one half of the cycle, about 9.3 years, the moon's gravitational pull produces slightly weaker tides. During the other half, that pull strengthens, drawing the oceans higher than usual. NASA scientists warn that by the mid-2030s, when this cycle reaches its peak and coincides with rising sea levels driven by climate change, Earth may experience some of the most severe flooding in recorded history. It is a solemn reminder that the bond between Earth and Moon is not a passive one. It is a living symphony. Its deep, resonant notes, capable of reshaping coastlines and quietly altering the fate of our world. Rest now. Feel the rhythm of that ancient dance continuing above you. The moon remains silent, yet ever present, its influence woven gently into the tides, the nights, and the passage of time itself. Are you still awake, night travelers? If you are still here by this quiet fire, gently adjust your pillows, let your shoulders soften completely, and feel the warmth of the blanket resting against your feet. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the mind grow lighter, and release it gently, as though gravity itself has loosened its hold, and you begin to drift into a vast, silent ocean of darkness. Tonight, we leave behind the noise of the long day. Together, we will open one of the most intimate and wondrous chapters hidden within our faithful companion. Welcome to the layers of time, structure, and composition. This is the story of how the moon shaped itself from fire and fragments, becoming a world with layers, a heart, and ancient secrets resting beneath its quiet gray dust. Let your thoughts grow light and allow the silent architecture of space to guide you toward peaceful rest. Silver heart in the cold rock, moon's nucleus. The story of the moon's inner structure is like turning the pages of an ancient diary written in stone and metal. The moon is not a single, lifeless block of rock. It is a carefully layered world, subtly differentiated, much like our own Earth. At its center lies a quiet metallic heart, preserving the last warmth of its violent birth. Modern seismic studies, made possible by instruments left behind by Apollo astronauts, reveal that this heart is not singular, but divided into two distinct parts. At the very center rests a solid inner core, rich in iron, with a radius of approximately 240 kilometers. Surrounding it is a liquid outer core, composed of molten iron, extending to a radius of about 300 kilometers. The presence of this liquid layer explains why the moon still experiences faint seismic tremors, gentle echoes of motion within an otherwise silent world. A modest, yet enduring core. Compared to other rocky bodies in the solar system, the moon's metallic heart is relatively small, occupying only about 20% of its radius. Yet its density is remarkable. At its center, pressure reaches nearly 5 gigapascals, around 49,000 times Earth's atmospheric pressure. This core is thought to be composed primarily of iron, blended with small amounts of sulfur and nickel, forming a dense and resilient mixture that has endured for billions of years. Above this heart lies a partially molten boundary layer, extending outward to nearly 500 kilometers. This zone acts as a thermal memory, slowly releasing energy left behind from the moon's formation some 4.5 billion years ago. It is the final trace of an ancient era when the moon may once have possessed a magnetic field strong enough to shield it from the harsh winds of the young sun. The mantle of the fiery ocean, the magma legacy. Surrounding the core is the mantle, the moon's largest and most substantial layer. Fragile in its stillness, yet powerful in its history, the mantle tells one of the grandest stories in planetary science. Scientists believe this mantle was born from a global magma ocean that enveloped the moon shortly after its formation. There was a time when the moon was not a calm silver presence in the sky, but a blazing sphere of molten rock, its fiery depths reaching hundreds, perhaps thousands, of kilometers below the surface. As this molten ocean cooled, a slow and deliberate transformation began. Dense minerals such as olivine and pyroxene crystallized first and sank under gravity, forming the mantle itself. This process unfolded over millions of years, creating a mantle richer in iron than that of Earth. Basalt samples returned by astronauts from the moon's dark plains, the lunar seas, confirmed this story. These plains were not oceans, but ancient lava flows, born from deep within the moon's hot interior. The final reservoirs of heat. As roughly 3/4 of the magma ocean solidified, The last remaining molten material became trapped between the crust and the mantle. These pockets were rich in rare and heat-producing elements. It was this concentrated energy that sustained lunar volcanism for billions of years, allowing lava to rise and spread across the surface, forming the dark, familiar patterns that still gaze back at us from the night sky. Rest now, night travelers. Beneath the moon's quiet glow lies a layered world, shaped by fire, cooled by time, and forever holding the memory of its beginning. Rocky crust and a strange asymmetry. Crust. The moon's outermost crust is the final, quiet result of countless ages of cooling and transformation. It acts like a protective skin, gently sealing everything that lies beneath. Its birth began with light itself. While heavy minerals sank downward to form the mantle, lighter crystals, chiefly plagioclase, rose slowly through the molten magma ocean, drifting upward like pale snowflakes. Over time, they gathered, cooled, and hardened into a solid crust known as a northosite. This is why the moon's highlands shine so brightly when touched by sunlight, reflecting a memory of their crystalline origins. An uneven shell and a lingering mystery. One of the moon's most curious features is that this crust is not evenly spread. On the side that eternally faces Earth, the near side, the crust is relatively thin, averaging about 50 kilometers. On the far side, however, it is noticeably thicker by nearly 20 kilometers on average. This imbalance has puzzled scientists for decades. Some suggest that Earth's gravity subtly drew molten material toward one hemisphere during formation. Others propose that colossal impacts stripped away sections of the near-side crust long ago, leaving behind an uneven and scarred surface. The truth may rest quietly between these explanations, written into the stone itself. The scars of passing time. The moon's crust is an open chronicle, patiently recording the violent history of the solar system. Every crater marks a moment of impact, a silent testimony to destruction long past. Covering this crust is a blanket of fine rocky dust called regolith, typically 5 to 15 meters thick. This powdery layer formed over billions of years as meteorites relentlessly shattered rocks into sharp, granular fragments. Astronauts described it as snow-like underfoot, yet carrying a distinct scent, often compared to spent gunpowder, released when ancient minerals met modern air. Shaping and the ghosts of gravity, physical properties. When we step back and consider the moon as a whole, we find it is not a perfect sphere, but a body shaped by memory and force, the shape of a fossilized pull. The moon is slightly elongated, forming a subtle ellipsoid rather than a true circle. This distortion is the result of ancient tidal forces from Earth, preserved in what scientists call a fossil bulge. This shape tells us that the moon solidified when it was more than twice as close to Earth as it is today. As it cooled and hardened, it lost the flexibility to reshape itself, forever bearing the imprint of that early gravitational embrace. Mascons, the hidden giants beneath the surface. Gravity on the moon is neither smooth nor uniform. Beneath its crust lie regions of unusually dense material known as mascons, or mass concentrations. These invisible giants often sit beneath vast impact basins, where heavy lava once flooded ancient craters. Their pull is strong enough to disturb the paths of low-orbiting spacecraft, forcing scientists to calculate trajectories with extraordinary precision. These mascons are the gravitational echoes of a violent past, when massive impacts reshaped the moon's interior and subtly bent the space around it. The fading of a once-living dynamo. Magnetism, too, tells a story of change. Today, the moon has almost no global magnetic field. Yet rock samples reveal that around 4 billion years ago, it once possessed a field nearly as strong as Earth's. Deep within its liquid core, a magnetic dynamo once stirred and flowed. Over time, as the core cooled and crystallized, this dynamo weakened and finally faded about 1 billion years ago. What remains now are only faint, localized magnetic traces locked within the crust, gentle ghosts of a long-vanished strength. Night travelers, your breathing has grown slow, steady, and calm. Take comfort in knowing that every layer of time, from the deep iron heart to the soft regolith dust, rests quietly in perfect order. The moon is like a paused hourglass. Each layer of rock, each plagioclase crystal, is a grain of sand marking billions of years of existence. Tonight, you need not unravel the mysteries of crust or mantle any longer. Your silver companion above continues its silent watch, guarding the balance of your world and gently keeping rhythm with your breath. After our journey through the moon's deep interior, we now rise gently to its surface, to where silvery dust rests beneath an endless sky and where the faintest atmosphere clings like a quiet breath. Welcome to the silver mist and dust of the stars, geology and atmosphere. Let your thoughts grow light and allow the slow harmony of space to guide you toward peaceful rest. Silver mist and dust of the stars, the regolith blanket, and the scent of the universe. The moon does not wear a living, fertile skin like Earth. Instead, it is wrapped in a soft gray veil of rocky debris known as regolith. Though the name sounds simple, this layer is a vast archive, one that records every visit from the stars. These dust grains were born in violence. For billions of years, the moon has endured constant bombardment by meteorites, from massive fragments to grains no larger than sand. With no atmosphere to soften their fall, these travelers strike the surface at tremendous speed, shattering solid rock into countless, sharp, angular particles. In the ancient highlands, this blanket of dust reaches 10 to 15 meters in depth. In the younger volcanic plains, it thins to about 4 to 5 meters, quietly marking the passage of geological time. The scent of spent gunpowder. One of the most unexpected discoveries made by the Apollo astronauts was not something they saw, but something they smelled. After returning from their walks on the lunar surface, the dust clinging to their suits released a distinct odor, often described as burnt or spent gunpowder. It is the scent of impact and extreme heat, of chemical bonds forged and broken in the silence of a vacuum. To the touch, the dust felt like soft snow, yet it carried the cold, dry breath of the universe itself, the gentle dance of charged dust. Under the constant touch of sunlight, these fine particles do not always rest. They can accumulate electric charge and briefly lift above the surface, forming a faint, glowing veil near the horizon at lunar dawn and dusk. Imagine standing there in complete stillness, watching stardust drift in a thin silver mist, an unspoken invitation to surrender to sleep. The ancient lava seas and silent plateaus. When you gaze at the moon with the naked eye, you see soft contrasts of light and dark, like brushstrokes on a quiet canvas. The darker regions are the Maria, or seas, once thought by ancient observers to be filled with water, oceans of black basalt. In truth, these are vast plains of hardened lava. Billions of years ago, between 3 and 4 billion years in the past, molten rock rose from the mantle and flooded enormous impact basins. Rich in iron and titanium, these lava flows cooled into dark, level plains. Their surfaces still bear the memory of fire etched in wrinkle ridges and winding channels, where lava once moved like slow rivers beneath an airless sky. Highlands, fortresses of light. In contrast, the brighter regions are the highlands, the moon's oldest surviving landscapes. Formed around 4.4 billion years ago, they emerged when lighter minerals floated upward in the primordial magma ocean and solidified into rugged terrain. These lands are marked by towering mountains, not shaped by shifting plates, but by colossal impacts that hurled stone skyward. On the moon's far side, these highlands dominate, forming a dense and ancient shield unseen from Earth. The Great Scar of South Pole Aitken. Near the moon's south pole, hidden within perpetual shadow, lies the South Pole Aitken Basin, one of the largest and deepest impact scars in the entire solar system. Stretching 2,500 kilometers across and plunging more than 8 kilometers deep, it stands as a quiet reminder of how fragile worlds can be. Scientists believe this basin has exposed material from deep within the moon's crust, preserving secrets from its earliest history, final pages waiting patiently to be read. Night travelers, let your breathing slow even further. The silver dust, the ancient lava seas, and the silent plateaus all rest now in perfect stillness. Above you, the moon keeps watch, not with sound or movement, but with time itself, guiding you gently toward a deep and undisturbed sleep, the faint whispers of the atmosphere. Many people imagine the moon as a world entirely without air, yet in truth, it carries an atmosphere so delicate that it is almost a secret, an exceedingly thin veil known as the exosphere, an atmosphere as thin as smoke. The total mass of this lunar atmosphere is less than 10 tons, so sparse that its particles almost never collide. It is a near-perfect vacuum, barely clinging to existence. And yet, within this fragile envelope are traces gathered from across space: helium, argon, and neon carried by the solar wind, along with sodium and potassium gently released from surface rocks under the steady rain of energetic particles. It is not an atmosphere you could feel, but it is one you can imagine, lingering like breath on cold glass, a memory of a denser sky. Long ago, some 3 to 4 billion years in the past, the moon was not always so silent. During an era of intense volcanic activity, it once held a true atmosphere, twice as dense as that of Mars today. But the moon's gentle gravity and the absence of a protective magnetic field could not hold it for long. The solar wind slowly swept that ancient sky away, carrying it into the vastness of space. What remains now is only a whisper, a faint trace, like smoke drifting through the stillness of a darkened room. The perpetual cloud of dust, beyond gas alone, the moon is also wrapped in a constant, invisible haze of dust. Every day, nearly 5 tons of cosmic material, micrometeorites and cometary debris, strike its surface. These impacts lift fine grains of dust as high as 100 kilometers, where they linger briefly before drifting back down in a silent dance that lasts only minutes. Even in its solitude, the moon is never truly alone. It remains in quiet conversation with the universe around it, the frozen treasure, and the magnetic ghosts. In the most concealed corners of this silver traveler, places untouched by sunlight for billions of years, the moon shelters its most precious secrets, eternal cold traps. At the lunar poles, deep within shadowed impact craters, temperatures plunge below minus 230 degrees Celsius, colder than the surface of Pluto. These regions, known as cold traps, are natural vaults where water molecules, delivered by comets or formed through interactions with the solar wind, have been captured and frozen. Billions of tons of ice lie dormant there, not only as a promise for future explorers, but as crystalline archives preserving memories from the earliest days of the solar system. Mysterious lunar swirls. Scattered across the moon's surface are strange, graceful markings called lunar swirls, bright, looping patterns of dust that resemble silver ribbons laid upon dark stone. Their secret lies in invisible forces, localized magnetic fields, lingering ghosts of an ancient magnetic past. These hidden shields protect the dust beneath from erosion by the solar wind, allowing it to remain luminous, as though freshly scattered from distant stars. The story of the surface and the silvery mist of your quiet companion now draws to a close. You have seen how darkness and light, dust and ice, destruction and stillness weave together to form a gentle world, one that keeps watch while you sleep. Let the images fade now, the fine regolith, the dark lava seas, the frozen crystals locked in shadow. Feel the calm certainty that you are resting within an orderly and patient universe. Above you, the moon remains, its silver glow softly touching your eyelids, its silence easing your thoughts. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel your mind grow lighter, and exhale gently, as though gravity itself has loosened its hold, allowing you to drift into a vast ocean of darkness. Tonight, after wandering through layers of time and veils of lunar mist, we move into the final chapter, the unseen yet powerful bond between two worlds. Welcome to the dance of invisible power, the influence of Earth's tides. This is the story of how the moon, with its unseen hands, shapes the oceans, governs the rhythm of time, and quietly protects the life flowing through your veins. Let your thoughts grow light, and allow the slow symphony of space to carry you into the most peaceful sleep. The dance of invisible forces, the invisible hands of gravity, tidal force. Our story begins with a bond that cannot be broken. The moon and the earth are joined by gravity, a force unseen yet endlessly patient. It does not act all at once. Instead, it reaches out like long, invisible fingers, gently pulling and stretching our planet each time the moon glides across the night sky. The tidal bulges. As the moon circles the earth, its gravitational pull is strongest on the side facing it. There, the oceans are drawn outward, rising into a gentle swell known as a tidal bulge. Yet the wonder does not end there. Opposite this first rise, on the far side of the Earth, a second bulge quietly forms. This happens because the Earth and Moon revolve together around a shared center of mass. The solid Earth is pulled more strongly toward the Moon than the distant waters on the far side, leaving those waters momentarily behind. The result is subtle and elegant. Our planet becomes ever so slightly elongated, producing two high tides with each full rotation of the Earth. The 12-hour and 25-minute pulse. You may have noticed that tides do not arrive at exactly the same time each day. While the Earth turns beneath the sky, the Moon is also moving forward along its orbit. To realign beneath the Moon, the Earth needs about 50 extra minutes each day. And so, the oceans breathe on a rhythm of roughly 12 hours and 25 minutes, a steady pulse that has nourished coastlines and living shores for billions of years. The silent conductor of time, tidal friction. The moon's influence does not end with the seas. Quietly, patiently, it also shapes the passage of time itself. Tidal friction and the slowing Earth. As the oceans rise and fall, they encounter resistance from continental shelves and the rugged contours of the seafloor. This resistance creates tidal friction, gently siphoning energy from Earth's rotation, like a soft hand resting against a spinning wheel. The effect is almost imperceptible, yet undeniable. Atomic clocks reveal that each day on Earth grows longer by about 17 microseconds every year. Long ago, some 4.4 billion years in the past, a full day lasted only 6 hours. Without the moon's steady braking, our world would spin too fast, its skies filled with relentless storms, its days and nights racing by in exhausting cycles. Instead, we live within a calm, familiar 24-hour rhythm, one that allows rest, reflection, and sleep. Guarding the magnetic shield. Recent studies suggest an even deeper role for this tidal connection. The moon's pull may help stir the molten iron within Earth's core, sustaining the dynamo that generates our magnetic field. That invisible shield deflects the solar wind, preserves our atmosphere, and keeps this blue world safe. A quiet protection working far beneath your feet. A slow farewell, orbital shift. Every graceful dance carries a cost.
The moon's gentle retreat.
As Earth loses rotational energy, that energy does not vanish. It is transferred to the moon, pushing it gradually into a higher, wider orbit. Using laser reflectors left behind by Apollo astronauts, scientists have measured this retreat with remarkable precision. The moon moves away from us by about 3.8 centimeters each year, roughly the pace at which a fingernail grows. Billions of years from now, the moon will appear smaller in our sky. The breathtaking total solar eclipses we know today will fade into history, replaced by delicate rings of light. Yet even then, from its distant path, the moon will continue its quiet vigil, watching over the Earth, guiding the tides, and standing guard through the long night. Now, night traveler, let your breathing slow. Feel the steady pull of gravity holding everything gently in place. The invisible dance continues above you, as it always has, patient, precise, and unbroken, while you drift into peaceful rest beneath the moon's enduring watch. The lunar nodal cycle. This quiet connection between Earth and Moon also unfolds through longer rhythms, slow, deliberate waves of destiny that stretch across generations. An 18.6-year rhythm. The Moon does not travel in the same flat plane as the Earth's path around the Sun. Its orbit is gently tilted by about 5 degrees. Because of this angle, the Moon crosses 2 invisible intersection points, known as nodes, during each monthly journey. These nodes, however, are not fixed in space. They drift, turning slowly around the Earth in a graceful cycle that lasts 18.6 years. This long cycle subtly reshapes the strength of the tides. During one half of the cycle, lasting roughly 9.3 years, the oceans tend to rest more calmly. In the other half, the Moon draws closer to alignment, quietly tightening its gravitational grip and allowing the tides to rise higher than usual. Scientists at NASA caution that by the mid-2030s, when this cycle reaches its peak and coincides with rising sea levels driven by climate change, coastal flooding may become more severe. It is a gentle reminder that the thread linking these two worlds is not silence, but a deep symphony, capable of both harmony and power. The guardian of stability, keeper of the tilted axis. Perhaps the Moon's greatest invisible gift is not something we see, but something we never have to fear. Holding the 23.5-degree balance. The Earth is tilted at approximately 23.5 degrees relative to its orbit around the Sun. This delicate tilt gives rise to the seasons, the promise of spring, the fullness of summer, the quiet beauty of autumn, and the stillness of winter you feel tonight. The Moon acts like a vast cosmic pendulum. Through its steady gravitational presence, it keeps Earth's axis from wandering. Without the Moon, our planet would sway unpredictably under the pull of neighboring worlds. The climate would swing into chaos, poles turning suddenly toward the Sun, ice melting in torrents, while equatorial regions could freeze beneath permanent frost. The Moon stands as a silent guardian, preserving a stable climate where life can take root, adapt, and endure. The cradle shaped by ancient waves, the beginning of life. At last we arrive at a humbling truth. Our very existence traces back to a moment of unimaginable violence, the primordial stirring. When the Moon formed some 4.5 billion years ago, after a colossal collision with a body known as Theia, it orbited much closer to the young Earth. The tides of that era were not the gentle swells we know today, but towering walls of water, thousands of meters high, racing across the surface at staggering speeds. These immense waves scoured the newborn continents, washing minerals and nutrients into the oceans. The seas were stirred again and again, creating a rich primordial mixture where molecules could meet, combine, and eventually form the first living cells. Without that ancient collision and the Moon's enduring pull, Earth's oceans might have remained still, lifeless and silent. Night travelers, your breathing has slowed now. Calm, untroubled. Feel the quiet assurance that this dance of invisible forces continues, even as you rest. The Moon is like an endless hourglass. With every retreating tide, another grain of sand falls, marking the passage of billions of years. Tonight, there is nothing you need to watch and nothing you need to measure. All things move in gentle and perfect order. Your blue planet turns more slowly, easing into stillness. Above you, the moon lingers in the dark sky, softly brushing your eyelids with its steady pull and cradling your soul in its enduring calm. Now, together, we turn the page to perhaps the most dramatic and wondrous chapter in the great cosmic book, Echoes from the Void, a journey of exploration and discovery. This is the story of humanity's quiet longing to reach the moon, of fragile vessels crossing the frozen darkness of space, and of faint, mysterious echoes returning from the void, forever reshaping our understanding of the silent guardian above us. Let your thoughts settle. Let the music of the universe guide you gently toward rest. Echoes from the void, the first messengers in the night. Our journey begins in the middle of the 20th century, when Earth's skies were filled not only with clouds and wind, but with ambition. It was the era of the Cold War, when two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, turned space itself into a vast stage for technological daring, the sound that broke the silence. On October 4th, 1957, a small metal sphere named Sputnik 1 rose into orbit, launched by the Soviet Union. It became humanity's first artificial satellite. Weighing about 83 kilograms, far heavier than anything its rivals had yet imagined, Sputnik circled the Earth 1,440 times in just 3 months. With each pass, it sent back a simple radio signal. That steady beep, beep, carried little data, yet its meaning was immense. It was the unmistakable announcement that the space age had begun. Luna and the first touch. The Soviet Union pressed forward with its Luna program. On January 4th, 1959, Luna 1 became the first human-made object to escape Earth's gravity entirely, slipping past the moon before continuing its endless path around the sun. Soon after, Luna 2 completed an even more intimate encounter, becoming the first messenger to reach the moon itself, striking its surface in a deliberate, historic impact, opening the hidden face. The greatest astonishment arrived in October of that same year, when Luna 3 traveled around the moon's far side. For the first time in history, images of that unseen hemisphere were sent back to Earth. What they revealed was startling. This hidden face lacked the broad, calm lava plains, the Maria, familiar to us. Instead, it was rugged and battered, scarred by countless overlapping craters. In that moment, humanity understood that the moon was not a perfect, balanced sphere, but a world shaped by deep asymmetry and ancient violence. The symphony of great solitude. Breathe slowly now. Let your heartbeat fall into rhythm with the vast stillness of space. After the age of machines, humanity began to dream of standing upon that silver dust. Apollo 8 and the moment of looking home. On Christmas Day, 1968, the Apollo 8 mission made an unprecedented leap, carrying 3 astronauts beyond Earth's orbit and into the moon's embrace. Each time the spacecraft slipped behind the far side, all communication with Earth vanished. For nearly 50 minutes of every orbit, the crew existed in complete radio silence, cut off from every human voice. Yet from that profound isolation came one of the most iconic images ever captured. Earthrise. Against the blackness, our planet appeared small, blue, and fragile. A luminous jewel suspended in darkness. The loneliest man in history. During the historic Apollo 11 mission, the world remembers Neil Armstrong's first step, but quietly, another story unfolded above. While Armstrong and Aldrin explored the surface, Michael Collins remained alone aboard the Columbia Command Module, circling the moon. With each pass over the far side, Collins was separated from the 3 billion people on Earth and from his companions below. He later described not fear, but awe, a deep reverence for the immensity of the universe, where even the presence of Earth could vanish behind a curtain of gray stone. Let these echoes fade gently now. The ships have passed, the signals have softened, and the silence returns. Above you, the moon remains, unchanged, watchful, and calm, holding the memories of every journey within its quiet light, the great leap over the calm sea. Now it is time to land. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the Eagle lunar module descending slowly, delicately, toward a silent sea of dust. 25 fateful seconds. On July 20th, 1969, the entire world seemed to stop breathing as Apollo 11's Eagle approached the lunar surface. The landing was far from effortless. A small deviation in orbit carried the spacecraft beyond its planned site, toward a dangerous field of massive boulders, some as large as buildings. Neil Armstrong disengaged the autopilot and took manual control, guiding the fragile craft across cratered ground in search of safety. When the landing legs finally touched the surface, there were only 25 seconds of fuel remaining. A moment later, and history might have ended in silence rather than triumph. The feeling of meeting a new friend. As Armstrong stepped down the ladder and spoke words now woven into human memory, he described the lunar surface as being as fine as powdered talc. Each careful step pressed 1 or 2 inches into the silver dust, leaving marks that would remain undisturbed in a world without wind or rain. He called the moon a place of harsh beauty, reminiscent of the high deserts of the American West. In that instant, the moon ceased to be a distant stranger. It became a place humanity had truly touched, a quiet companion at last made familiar. The speech that was never spoken. Few people know that a shadow hung quietly behind that historic moment. In preparation for Apollo 11, President Richard Nixon had a speech ready, solemnly titled, "In the Event of Disaster on the Moon." There was real fear that the astronauts might land safely, yet never lift off again, left behind to slowly exhaust their oxygen under an uncaring sky. That speech, mercifully, was never delivered. It remains forever unread, replaced instead by a shared breath of relief and joy felt across the Earth. Treasures from the rocks and biological mysteries. After Apollo 11, humanity returned to the moon 5 more times, bringing back 380.05 kilograms of lunar rocks and soil, silent witnesses to deep time, the cosmic bloodline. These samples revealed a startling truth. The moon's chemical composition, including its oxygen isotopes, is nearly identical to Earth's. This discovery overturned earlier ideas that the moon was a wandering object captured by gravity. Instead, it confirmed a far more intimate origin. The moon is a true part of Earth's story, born from the catastrophic collision with a planet-sized body known as Theia, some 4.5 billion years ago. The moon is not a visitor, it is kin. Life surviving the void? Another quiet mystery emerged from the Apollo 12 mission. Astronauts retrieved a camera from the Surveyor 3 spacecraft, which had rested on the moon for 2 years. Upon examination back on Earth, scientists were astonished to find traces of bacteria, Streptococcus mitis, still alive inside. Although debate continues over possible contamination, the finding opened a profound question. Might microscopic life endure long periods of deep dormancy, even amid the extreme cold, radiation, and vacuum of space? The echoes of a barren world. The moon's secrets are not limited to stone and dust. They also reveal themselves through sound, or rather, through the strange persistence of vibration, ringing like a bell. During the Apollo 12 mission, the discarded launch stage of the lunar module was deliberately crashed into the surface to generate seismic waves. What followed surprised everyone. Instead of fading quickly, as vibrations do on Earth, the moon resonated, ringing like a bell, for more than an hour. Why the echo lingers? Some imagined a hollow moon, but science offered a quieter explanation. The moon is extraordinarily dry and rigid. On Earth, water within rocks absorbs and dampens vibrations. The moon, lacking oceans and liquid water, allows seismic waves to scatter and echo through its fractured crust for long periods. That lingering resonance is not emptiness. It is the voice of a world shaped without moisture, telling its story through prolonged, fading echoes. Now, let those echoes soften and dissolve into silence. The dust settles, the bell grows still. Above you, the moon rests once more, ancient, quiet, and faithful, holding the memories of humanity's boldest steps within its pale and patient light. Modern messengers in the moon sniper era. Our journey of discovery did not end with the 1970s. After a long, quiet pause, humanity has returned to the moon, this time with tools of remarkable precision and patience. Chang'e 4 and the first seed on the far side. In January 2019, China's Chang'e 4 spacecraft accomplished something no mission had done before. A successful soft landing on the moon's far side, deep within the von Karman Basin. With the Queqiao relay satellite acting as a silent bridge, humanity was finally able to observe this ancient hemisphere up close. We gazed upon regolith untouched by Earth's view for billions of years. Within the lander itself, a small biological experiment unfolded. A cotton seed briefly sprouted inside a controlled ecosystem. It was the first time life had ever germinated on another celestial body, a fragile yet profound symbol of possibility. The moon sniper and absolute precision. In early 2024, Japan added a new chapter with the SLIM spacecraft, aptly named the Moon Sniper. Its goal was breathtaking in its ambition, to land within a margin of just 100 meters, an area nearly 8,000 times smaller than the Apollo 11 landing zone. Though a last-minute engine malfunction caused SLIM to land upside down, the mission refused to fail quietly. Against expectations, it endured 3 bitter lunar nights, where temperatures plunged to around minus 180 degrees Celsius. This resilience proved something extraordinary. Humanity now possesses the precision to land almost anywhere on the moon, even in its most unforgiving landscapes, in search of hidden ice and future refuge. Your breathing is now slow, calm. Feel the peace of knowing that every mystery of the moon, from Sputnik's first beeps to Armstrong's footprints, to the moon sniper's improbable landing, is part of a single grand symphony quietly guarding your sleep. The moon is no longer a distant stranger. It has become a living journal, recording humanity's curiosity, courage, and persistence. Tonight, you do not need to decipher its pages. Everything is unfolding in gentle order beneath the silver glow of our eternal night watchman. Allow your body to soften. Let your eyelids grow heavy. Sink slowly into the comforting dark. Night travelers, are you still here with us? If so, adjust your pillow, let your shoulders fall away from their burdens, and feel the warmth of the blanket resting easily against your body. Take a deep breath. Feel the lightness of your thoughts, and exhale slowly, as though gravity itself has loosened its hold, and you are drifting into a vast, quiet ocean of night. Tonight, after traveling through layers of time and the journeys of our ancestors, we arrive at the final chapter, where mysteries still sleep and the future quietly waits. Welcome to the Sleeping Mysteries, Truth and the Future. This is the story of strange echoes from a silent world, of precious water hidden in eternal darkness, and of humanity's enduring dream of one day calling the moon a second home among the stars. Let your mind remain light, and let the symphony of space guide you into the deepest rest. The echo from a barren heart. The moon's mysteries reveal themselves not only through images, but also through sound, through vibrations that once astonished the scientific world. The moon that rang like a bell. On November 20th, 1969, during the Apollo 12 mission, scientists conducted a bold seismic experiment. After the astronauts had safely departed, the lunar module's launch stage was deliberately crashed into the surface at nearly 3,800 miles per hour. What followed defied expectation. Instead of fading quickly, as vibrations do on Earth, the moon resonated, ringing like a bell for more than an hour. This phenomenon inspired speculation about a hollow, artificial moon. Yet the truth, revealed through science, is quieter and deeper. The moon rang so long because it is extraordinarily dry and rigid. On Earth, water within rocks absorbs and softens seismic waves. On the moon, lacking oceans and moisture, those vibrations scatter and echo through fractured stone for extended periods. That lingering sound is not emptiness. It is the voice of a world shaped without water's gentle touch. The gravitational ghosts of mascons. Another hidden secret lies beneath the lunar surface: mascons, or mass concentrations. When early spacecraft orbited the moon, engineers noticed something unsettling: satellites drifting off course, as though unseen hands were pulling them downward. These mascons are dense regions buried beneath ancient impact basins, remnants of colossal collisions long past. They subtly warp gravity itself, bending space just enough to demand perfect calculations from every mission that dares to descend. Silent, invisible, and powerful, they are reminders that the moon still holds forces capable of shaping our fate. Rest now, night traveler. The echoes fade. The dust settles. Above you, the moon remains, ancient, watchful, and serene, keeping its secrets while quietly watching over your sleep. Strange scents and dust. Even when we believe the moon to be a silent, lifeless world, it occasionally sends us subtle signals, quiet reminders that it is not entirely at rest. Transient lunar phenomena, TLP. For centuries, careful observers have reported fleeting lights, faint veils of mist, or sudden shifts in color across the lunar surface. Scientists refer to these rare and puzzling events as transient lunar phenomena. During the Apollo 11 mission, astronauts themselves noticed an unusually illuminated region within the Aristarchus crater while it lay in darkness. Some researchers interpret these moments as signs of gas escaping from deep within the moon's interior. Others, guided by imagination rather than evidence, have wondered about hidden structures. Whatever their cause, these brief glimmers remind us that the moon still holds mysteries beneath its calm appearance. The scent of the universe. Few people know that the moon has a scent. When Apollo astronauts returned to their lunar module, the dust clinging to their suits released a distinct and unforgettable odor, one they compared to burning gunpowder. This fine, talc-like dust is the result of billions of years of relentless meteorite impacts. It is dry, sharp, and electrically charged by the constant flow of the solar wind. Each grain tells a story of collision and heat, reminding us that the moon's surface is a quiet battlefield of stars, where time has been written in powder and stone. Treasure in the eternal darkness. In the coldest corners of the solar system, the moon guards a silent treasure, one that may shape humanity's future. Ice at the poles. Near the moon's poles lie deep impact craters that sunlight has never touched for billions of years. Within these shadows, temperatures fall below -230 degrees Celsius, colder than the surface of Pluto. In 2009, NASA's LCROSS mission deliberately sent a rocket stage into the Cabeus crater, lifting a plume of dust into the faint light above. Instruments detected the unmistakable signature of water ice. Scientists estimate that billions of tons of this frozen water lie undisturbed in perpetual darkness. Delivered long ago by comets and preserved by extreme cold, this ice is more than a scientific curiosity. Water can sustain life, nourish crops, and be separated into oxygen for breathing and hydrogen for fuel. It is the foundation upon which future lunar bases and eventual journeys to Mars may be built. The dance of the knots, the 18.6-year cycle. The bond between Earth and the Moon is woven not only of light, but of gravity moving in a slow and deliberate rhythm. The lunar nodal cycle. The moon's orbit is not perfectly aligned with Earth's path around the sun. It is tilted by about 5 degrees, creating a gentle wobble known as the lunar nodal cycle, which lasts 18.6 years. This subtle motion quietly alters the moon's gravitational influence on our oceans. During one half of the cycle, tides are slightly calmer. During the other, the gravitational pull tightens, raising tides higher than usual. Scientists warn that by the mid-2030s, when this cycle reaches its peak and coincides with rising sea levels caused by climate change, coastal flooding may become more severe. It is a sober reminder that the moon's rhythm continues to shape every breath and movement of our planet. Modern messengers and Project Artemis. After more than half a century, humanity is preparing to return. The age of precision. In early 2024, Japan's SLIM spacecraft, often called the Moon Sniper, achieved a remarkable feat, landing within just 100 meters of its target. Despite touching down upside down, it endured the bitter lunar nights and continued to function. This mission proved that humanity now has the precision to land on even the most challenging terrain, opening new paths in the search for ice. The Artemis program, the next great step. NASA's Artemis program aims to return humans to the moon by the end of this decade. This time, the goal is not a brief visit, but a lasting presence. A space station known as the Lunar Gateway will orbit the moon, serving as a guiding light for deeper exploration. On the far side of the moon, future radio observatories may rise, protected from Earth's electromagnetic noise by the moon itself. In that profound silence, we may finally listen to the faintest whispers from the dawn of the universe, echoes left behind shortly after the Big Bang. Rest now, night traveler. The dust settles, the shadows hold their secrets, and above you the moon remains, ancient, patient, and quietly preparing to guide humanity's next great journey. A slow farewell and eternal silence. At this very moment, the moon is performing a quiet yet meaningful gesture. She is slowly drifting away from us. A farewell measured in centimeters. Thanks to laser reflectors left behind by the Apollo missions, we know that each year the moon recedes by about 3.8 centimeters, no faster than the growth of a human fingernail. This gentle retreat is the result of tidal friction. Earth's rotation gradually slows, and the lost energy nudges the moon into a wider orbit. Billions of years from now, the moon will appear smaller and more distant. The breathtaking total solar eclipses we know today will fade into memory. Yet even then, she will continue her silent duty, stabilizing Earth's tilt, preserving the rhythm of the seasons, and keeping the climate gentle enough for you to rest here tonight. This bond is enduring, written not in words, but in gravity and light. Night travelers, your breathing is now slow, soft, unhurried. Feel the deep peace of knowing that no matter how vast the universe becomes, you remain cradled within a precise and caring cosmic order, where every celestial body plays its role in sustaining life. The moon is like an endless hourglass. Each falling grain of sand is a chapter of existence itself. Tonight, there is no need to solve its mysteries. Everything continues in quiet harmony beneath the watchful gaze of the silver guardian above. Relax your body completely. Let your eyelids grow heavy and drift into the calm darkness under the gentle presence of your ancient companion. Take a deep breath. Feel your thoughts grow light. Exhale slowly, as though gravity itself has loosened its hold, allowing you to float into the vast ocean of night. Tonight, after traveling together through visions of the dawn of time, through silver landscapes and the secrets of the far side, we now gather the final notes of the great symphony known as the moon, the faithful companion that has shaped humanity's destiny. Welcome to The Eternal Night Watchman, the Moonlight's Farewell. Here we reflect on origins, forces, and quiet aspirations. Let your mind remain light and allow the music of the cosmos to carry you gently into sleep. Seeds from fire and stone, origin and structure. The fateful touch of the goddess Theia. Our story begins not in silence, but in fire and motion. Around 4.5 billion years ago, when the solar system was still a restless nursery, the young Earth shared its path with another world. Scientists call it Theia, a planet roughly the size of Mars, moving on a collision course shaped by destiny. Theia did not strike Earth head-on. Instead, she brushed past at a delicate angle of about 45 degrees. The energy released was unimaginable, melting both worlds and flinging billions of tons of matter into space. A glowing ring of molten debris formed around Earth. From this swirling cloud, in scarcely more than 100 years, a mere heartbeat in cosmic time, the moon gathered herself into a stable, shining sphere, the silver heart and the layers of time. The moon is not a single lifeless stone, but a world with structure and memory. At her center lies a small iron core, about 1/5 of her radius, composed of a solid inner heart wrapped in a liquid outer layer. These are the fading remains of a core that once powered a magnetic field, shielding the moon from the harsh breath of the sun. Above this heart rests a mantle rich in olivine and pyroxene, born from a vast magma ocean, hundreds of kilometers deep. And crowning it all is a pale crust of anorthosite, formed when lighter minerals floated upward as the moon slowly cooled. This crust is uneven, thinner on the side that forever faces Earth, allowing lava to rise easily and spread into the dark plains, the familiar lunar seas that watch over us each night. Rest now, night traveler. The moon continues her slow journey, carrying with her the memory of fire, the patience of stone, and the quiet promise of stability beneath the stars. The dust of the stars, regolith. The surface of the moon is wrapped in a quiet gray blanket known as regolith. It is not soil in the earthly sense, but the product of billions of years of relentless meteorite impacts, each strike grinding the lunar surface into countless sharp, powder-fine fragments. Apollo astronauts once described this dust as soft as fresh snow, yet carrying the unmistakable scent of spent gunpowder. Every single grain is a fragment of time itself, a silent witness to the patience, violence, and endurance of the universe. The night watchman and the dance of the tides, the influence. The invisible hands of gravity. Breathe slowly and sense the unseen thread that binds two worlds. The moon and the Earth remain locked in an eternal gravitational embrace. It is this invisible force that stirs our oceans and gives birth to the rhythm we call the tides. As the moon glides through the sky, her gravity gently draws the oceans toward her, raising a swelling of water, a high tide. Together with the pull of the sun and the balancing effect of centrifugal force, this motion creates a steady pulse. Every 12 hours and 25 minutes, the seas rise once more. Long ago, these immense tides sculpted the continents, washing minerals into the oceans and forming a rich chemical cradle, the primordial soup from which life first emerged. The conductor of time and seasons. The moon does more than move the waters. She also slows the turning of the Earth itself. Through tidal friction, our companion has gradually applied a gentle brake to our planet's spin, lengthening the day from just 6 hours in Earth's infancy to the 24 hours we know today. Each passing year, the rotation eases a little more, quietly surrendering to stillness. Most crucial of all, the moon acts as a vast cosmic pendulum, stabilizing Earth's tilt at 23.5 degrees. Without her steady presence, our planet would wobble chaotically, its axis lurching without warning, plunging the equator into ice while the poles turn toward the sun. The moon stands guard over the seasons, preserving their rhythm and granting life the calm, predictable time it needs to grow and evolve. A personal story from the one and only face. Have you ever wondered why the moon always shows us the same face? This quiet familiarity is the result of tidal locking. Earth's gravity has synchronized the moon's rotation with her orbit, ensuring that one hemisphere, the near side, forever gazes back at us. The other, the far side, remains hidden in cosmic night, carrying its own untold stories. It is not coincidence, but commitment. A silent pact between two travelers, bound together in loyalty, circling through the darkness, side by side, since the dawn of time. Echoes from the void and the dream of reaching forward, footsteps and the resounding bell. In 1969, humanity took its first great leap onto the Sea of Tranquility. The Apollo missions did more than return 380 kilograms of precious rock and soil, confirming the shared origin of Earth and Moon. They also revealed discoveries no one had imagined. During the Apollo 12 mission, astronauts deliberately allowed a module to strike the lunar surface. What followed astonished scientists on Earth. The moon rang like a bell for more than an hour. The reason lay in the moon's nature. It is an extraordinarily dry and rigid world. With no water hidden within its rocks to soften the shock, seismic waves echoed again and again through its fractured crust, creating a lingering resonance, a long, hollow song from deep within. It was not the sound of emptiness, but the voice of a world without the comforting presence of moisture, treasures in the eternal darkness. Beyond the reach of sunlight, the moon continues to guard its secrets. Near the poles, inside deep craters that have not seen the sun for billions of years, scientists discovered ice. In 2009, NASA's LCROSS mission confirmed that billions of tons of this frozen water lie concealed in permanent shadow. This ice is more than a scientific curiosity. It is often called white gold for the future. It can be separated into oxygen for breathing and hydrogen for rocket fuel, transforming the moon into a vital stopping point for humanity's journeys deeper into space. For now, these frozen reserves sleep quietly in the darkness, waiting for the day they will awaken to support our reach beyond the familiar. The Artemis Project and a home among the stars. Today, we stand at the edge of a new chapter. NASA's Artemis program aims to return humans to the moon after more than half a century, not merely to visit, but to remain. A space station known as the Lunar Gateway will orbit the moon, serving as a steady beacon for exploration. In the years ahead, the moon's far side, forever shielded from Earth's electromagnetic noise, will become a sanctuary of silence. There, vast radio telescopes will listen for the faintest echoes from the universe's earliest moments, whispers carried from just after the Big Bang. The moon will no longer be a distant companion alone in the night. It will become part of humanity's living system, a crucial stepping stone toward Mars and the stars beyond. As you look up at the bright moon outside your window, you may realize that it no longer feels like a cold, distant stone. Knowing its story, you see it instead as a familiar presence, a quiet guardian that has accompanied Earth in shaping the epic of life for 4.5 billion years. There is a deeply moving truth. The moon and Earth share the same bloodline. Scientists describe this as the near-perfect match of oxygen isotopes found in lunar and terrestrial rocks. It brings us back to the giant impact hypothesis, when the planet Theia struck the young Earth, scattering molten debris that gathered and formed the moon in less than 100 years. The moon is not a captured wanderer, but a part of us, separated, yet forever watching over its home. You may also wonder why your life flows so naturally within a 24-hour rhythm. That gentle clock was set by the moon. In Earth's earliest days, a single day lasted only 6 turbulent hours, filled with violent storms. Through tidal friction, the moon slowly applied a brake, stretching time until rest became possible. Even now, she continues her quiet farewell, drifting away by 3.8 centimeters each year, about the growth of a human fingernail, a goodbye written not in moments, but across billions of years. When we study its composition, it is impossible not to be struck by the severity hidden beneath such a gentle glow. The moon has no true atmosphere to protect or soften it. Its exosphere is so thin, it is nearly a vacuum. Astronauts who have walked upon its surface spoke of an unexpected sensation, a peculiar scent, like burnt gunpowder lingering after a distant battle. It comes from the regolith, dust as fine as snow, yet sharp to the touch, formed through billions of years of relentless meteorite bombardment. Perhaps most haunting of all is the mystery of its echoes. When humans deliberately created impacts to study lunar seismology, the moon rang like a bell for more than an hour. Not because it is hollow, but because it is profoundly dry. With no moisture or liquid water to absorb the shock, vibrations travel freely, rebounding again and again through its fractured crust. What we heard was not emptiness, but endurance, the sound of a world shaped by silence. Humanity's effort to understand this quiet companion has been filled with moments of triumph and humility. You think of the nearly 400,000 men and women who devoted their lives to the Apollo program. You think of Japan's recent Moon Sniper, the slim spacecraft which, despite landing upside down, endured 3 lunar nights of bitter cold below -180 degrees Celsius, faithfully sending its data home. And you think of the eternal darkness at the moon's south pole, where billions of tons of ice lie hidden, the white gold that carries our future hopes of exploration and settlement. Yet what brings the deepest sense of calm is the moon's quiet devotion. Through the phenomenon of tidal locking, it has turned the same face toward Earth for millions of years. It accepts that its other half will remain forever unseen, hidden in cosmic solitude, so that it may serve as an unceasing lantern for our world. The moon is like an ancient diary of Earth itself. While Earth is alive and restless, constantly reshaping its surface through wind and rain, the moon preserves every scar, every memory of the solar system's long history. It keeps our planet's axial tilt steady at 23.5 degrees, maintaining the rhythm of the seasons and the gentleness of our climate. Without this presence, life as we know it may never have flourished. Tonight, let the silver moonlight rest softly upon your eyelids. Sleep peacefully, knowing that far above, our night watchman continues its timeless tidal dance, quietly preserving balance and calm. To picture it more clearly, imagine the moon as a devoted caretaker, one who calmed Earth's early storms, regulates the ocean's breathing through the tides, and willingly surrendered its own freedom to watch over us from a respectful distance. Your breathing is now slow, deep, steady. Feel the quiet reassurance that no matter how vast the universe may be, you remain held within a perfectly ordered system. The moon is still there, the faithful silver traveler that drifts 3.8 centimeters farther away each year, yet never ceases to guard the heartbeat of our blue planet. The mysteries of Theia, of bell-like echoes, of hidden ice, gently fade into the background, becoming a lullaby for your rest. You lie here on a world once forged in fire, now turned into a haven, protected by the eternal night watchman above. Let your body fully relax. Let your thoughts grow light. Drift into peaceful sleep beneath the calm gaze of your silver companion. Sleep well, traveler of the night. The universe is holding you close. The moon is a mirror of time. It reflects not only sunlight into the darkness, but also the long journey of our own lives, marked by scars, endurance, and quiet pride.